Hey everyone, this is Marbozir and welcome to StarDrive. StarDrive is a 4X space strategy game. 4X of course being explore, expand, exploit and exterminate. It is currently in beta. This is 1.05b beta version, as you can see in bottom left corner right now. The game is scheduled for release on 26 April 2013 of course, and you can get it from Steam. I will probably not be doing a full Let's Play series on this. I'm most likely going to wait for a full version with that, but this is going to be kind of a first look at the game. I'm going to show you some of the basic concepts, how the game actually works, and play a little bit. So this will probably be a few parts long, we'll see about that. So before I go into the game, of course the standard disclaimer applies that since this is the beta version, the final version of the game might be quite different to what you're seeing right here. And I'm sure some concepts are actually not implemented yet, as far as I know at least. So the game does have a tutorial system, but the tutorials are mostly text-based, as you can see right here. They do a fairly good job at explaining the basic concepts of the game. There are 3 introductory videos that you can watch that show you the absolute basics of the game right here. I will not be watching these right now, obviously. But if you don't like reading, or if you hate reading, there isn't any in-game tutorial. I know lots of people like this, but there isn't anything like that in StarDrive. Alright, so having said all that, let's go straight into the game. The game does have 8 playable races, as you can see on the left side right now. One of these is humans, which is fairly standard in pretty much every game of this type ever. And humans is what I'm going to play. Every race has traits that are specific to that race, as you could expect, and they can be seen right here. These are all split into 3 categories, which is physical, sociological, and history and tradition. So in case of humans, I get prototype flagship, which is simply just a stronger ship that you start the game with, that without this trait you wouldn't have. I also have industrious trait, which gives me a production bonus. I also get a 25% bonus to tax income, as well as 35% bonus to research. So humans are a good race all around, I would say. You can also modify your flag and color. So if I don't like the blue, I can pick pretty much any color I want, as you can see. So I can go for orange, I can change my flag if I don't like it. I can go for something like this. And I can change some basic settings about this particular game. So I can set galaxy size ranging from tiny through small, medium, large and epic. I'm just going to go for small in this game. You can change number of solar systems that will be in your galaxy. I'm going to leave this on normal. I can set the number of opponents ranging from 1 to 7. I'll leave it at 5 since this is a small galaxy, maybe even 4, that might be better. The game mode, this is something that's currently not possible to modify, there's only sandbox mode. It will probably be different in final version of the game, I have no idea what plans the developers have for this. But sandbox is the only option available right now. The pacing, this obviously affects how fast the game will be. This changes the research and construction times for every player, as you can see on the tooltip. So this can be increased with 25% jumps, ranging from 100 to 400%. I'm going to leave it on default, which is 100%. I can change the difficulty, ranging from easy through normal, hard and brutal. I'll keep normal, which is the default. And that's pretty much it. Let's jump straight into the game. So one thing to keep in mind is that StarDrive is a real-time strategy game, which means there are no turns, and if you don't pause the game, it will just keep going, regardless of what you're doing. So you should pause frequently to plan your moves and to evaluate the situation. So one thing that's also quite interesting and fun is that humans actually start in the legitimate solar system. not in just some random system. So you do have actual Earth, you do have Venus, Mercury, Mars, and so on. So before I actually unpause the game and start doing anything, let's have a look at what I have. I have my flagship right here, which is part of my civilization trait. It's right here, Perseverance. I have a scout, which I can send to explore the galaxy automatically right now. As you can see on the bottom right here, I can order the ship to go explore the galaxy. And I do have a colony ship, which I can obviously use to colonize another planet. And before I do that, I'm going to have a look at the planets themselves. There are a few interesting things that you should know of before you decide to colonize anything at all. So every planet has 3 important numbers to it, which is maximum population, which for example in case of Venus is 0.1. This is in billions, I believe. It also has food output, which in case of this planet is 0. So that does mean if you colonize one of these planets, you will not be able to produce any food there, which means you have to import food from Earth, for example. I'll go into that in a moment. And the last one is richness. This one is self-explanatory. This simply dictates how good this planet will be at production and what kind of production output it will have. So let's go to planet management screen, and you can see my food production and research right here. These are the 3 most important resources every planet gets. I can change the labor assignment. Obviously it's not a good idea changing my food output to negative, because then Earth would starve. That's definitely not a good thing. So there's one very important concept in the game to remember, and this is freighters. If I start a second colony right now, for example on Venus, I will not be able to produce food on Venus, which means I have to actually move food between Earth and Venus. And this is done using freighters. I can just construct them myself, the small transport, which is a freighter type ship, as you can see, and it will move goods between Earth and Venus as long as I can actually set this to export. I can also automate this process, which would generally be very recommended, I would say. This is a lot of micromanagement that you can completely skip if you go into automation panel, which is right here. And I can enable automatic freighters. This option is disabled by default, and I feel like this is the first thing you should do in the game, unless you really want to do the micromanagement yourself, but you don't have to. There are some other automation options which are worth having a look at, and one of these is auto build projectors. Projectors are structures that are constructed in space that create lanes between the systems that you have colonized. So I'm going to set this on auto build. I'm going to handle exploration and colonization myself for now, but I would say these 2 options are definitely worth setting to automated, especially the freighters. So speaking of freighters, I can set my storage either to import, export or store, which does exactly what you would think it does. If I set it to export, my freighters will transport food and production from Earth to other systems, and these will be the systems that have this option set to import. I can also set it to store, which in this case will obviously be stored up to the maximum capacity that you can see right here, which is 200 in this case. I'm most likely going to start colonizing very soon, so I'm going to set it to export for now. And the third thing which is quite important when it comes to colonizing is richness. Richness, yeah, let's take Venus as the example that I already used. Richness of 4.3 is one of the highest I've seen. This really doesn't go much higher than 4. So Venus is actually a pretty good system for production. although the population is rather on the low side, 0.1. I can, however, start a colony right here, which I can do just by clicking colonize. And as soon as I click colonize, my colony ship will move right here. But before I unpause the game, which I already have done for a moment there, I should set my research, and this is one of the problems in the game, I would say, or maybe not problems, but this is something you really need to remember when you start playing the game. If you do not pick research yourself, the game will never notify you that you actually need to do so. So picking your research is the first thing you should do. You can totally just continue playing the game without having any kind of research assigned. So research in the game is split into 6 different categories that you can see right here. This is colonization, energy, social logistics, physics, space weapons, and starship construction. These are fairly self-explanatory. So I'm probably going to go with something either in colonization or social logistics. I can grab interstellar governance, which is going to unlock imperial offices, which gives me some extra income. Extra income is always good. And this takes 50 research points, as you can see. So that's what I'm going to go for. Speaking of income, I can also change my tax rate. The tax in the game is extremely simple. Setting the tax rate to 25%, for example, will reduce my production and research exactly by that percentage. So with my tax rate on 25%, my research and production will be reduced exactly by 25%. I quite like that. It's a very easy concept and very obvious one to understand. There are no complex dependencies between these two. So here comes my colony ship. It's going to start a colony on Venus. Come on. There we go. That's my first colony, as you can see. So the thing about colonies is that they are quite hard to actually expand because, as you can see, all of this land right here is not habitable, which means I can't construct anything here. If I wanted to build a spaceport somewhere here, I can't actually do this because this is not a viable location for construction. I can do it with some research, but I'll probably go into that later. But it is possible to turn this uninhabitable land into tiles that can actually be used for construction. And so, since Venus actually can't produce any food itself because of fertility rating of 0, I have to import some food from other systems, from other planets. And since I automated my freighters and Earth is set to export, the game will start constructing small transport. As you can see yourself right here, the construction queue has 3 small transports, which were added there by the actual AI. I didn't do it myself, thanks to the automation setting that I set just a moment ago. And one more thing that I also can do, and this is a bit different from other games of this type, production in here is actually something that can be stored, which seems like a bit of a weird concept. But I can use the stored production that I have right here, which is 152 out of 200, to actually rush my small transports by clicking this icon right here. When I click this, I'm going to rush the small transports. So I can rush out 2 small transports, and doing this actually reduces the amount of production I have stored, as you can see. So now I completed these 2 transports right there by rushing them. And they will start transporting food to Venus. Here's the first transport arriving at Venus. Come on. You can speed up the game up to 4 times the normal speed. And there we go. I have 15 out of 30 food in store right now. So this will allow my colony not to starve. That would probably not be good for their health, not having any food. But obviously I want to go outside of the solar system. That's the whole point. You can see the galaxy map in the bottom right corner right now. And I started kind of in the corner, which is actually kind of nice. I do not want to be in the middle. My scout is already exploring the galaxy, so let's have a look at these planets right here. This one is not habitable at all, neither is this one, at least not by me. Let's have a look at Hronos. Sometimes there are hostile fleets around the planets that you're going to explore, so that is something to keep in mind. Here's a planet that might be worth colonizing. It has 0.3 fertility. That's not a lot, but at least it means you can produce some food on this planet, which is better than having fertility of 0. One production is not very impressive either, but again, it could have been worse. And it has maximum of 1.2 population. So I click colonize, as you can see, which means the game should send a colony ship right there. And if I do not have a colony ship, it will be constructed automatically. As you can see, the colony ship is in construction queue right now, so I can speed it up a little bit. One more thing that I do want to construct is, first of all, at least some kind of basic fleet, so I could grab another scout, just in case I lose my first one and in case I'm going to need it. I can't really get anything better right now because I do not have any technologies. And one more thing that I might need are some space marines. And you might be wondering, why would I need space marines when I didn't even meet any other races yet? This is because some of the planets that you're going to explore can have anomalies. I don't think I actually found any right now. And when you find a planet with an anomaly, oh, the research is done, you can actually send some space marines there, go to planetary view. I want to show you how exactly that works. Here's one planet. I can go to planetary view, and if I have some space marines that are close to this planet, I can send them to the surface and actually check out the anomaly on that planet. I would show you a specific example, but I did not find any planets with actual anomalies just yet. So I'll do that when I actually find some. So my research is done, which means I can now construct Imperial offices back on Earth. And I should pick my next research. So I think my next research is going to be aeroponics, which will unlock aeroponic farm for +1 flat bonus to food production. That seems like a pretty good idea. Let's have a look at some of these other technologies. Some space weapons will probably be good to get in the near future. I could actually grab magnetic artillery to unlock the railgun. But first, I'm going to go for aeroponics to unlock the farm. That requires 150 research. So let's speed up the game a little bit again. Did I find any colonizable planet? Oh yeah, I already sent my colony ship right here. So let's speed up a little bit, 2 × 4. Anything interesting? Oh, there we go, there's an actual system with some hostile forces in it, which is indicated by these 2 icons. The 3 exclamation marks indicate that there's a hostile fleet in there, and this one indicates that there's actual combat going on in the system. Here's my scout. Where's that fleet? Let's have a look at these planets. Yeah, my mouse is misbehaving a little bit, as you can see. This planet is not too bad. This is ultra rich planet. Yeah, this is quite nice. The fertility is not very impressive, but it has 2.6 max population and 5 richness. 5 richness is really as high as it gets. You will not really see a planet with richness higher than 5. Where's this hostile fleet? I can't see any right now. Interesting. Oh yeah, there it is. It's on the other planet right now. This planet is not... Oh, I can't colonize this planet. Oh yeah, I can. I can't actually see the details of this planet yet. Now I can. It's not that great, it's average. This one is actually kind of better, I have to say. It has 0.3 fertility and 5 richness, as opposed to 0.2 and 1.8. This one has a much bigger max population though. But still, I could colonize this one. It might not be entirely safe doing this with that fleet over there, but I can try. This is a little bit far from me, however, so it might be worth finding some other planets that are just a little bit closer to me. Let's have a look at these. Yeah, these all have 0 fertility, unfortunately. So while I could start colonies there, I'd rather avoid doing that for now. Let's take care of this colony once I actually start it. Where's my colony ship? It didn't arrive just yet, so I'm going to wait for that. Oh, and yeah, I should construct the Imperial offices back on Earth. So that's what I'm going to do real quick. That's the last Space Marine right there. So, with actual buildings, I can assign where exactly the building is going to be constructed. So, I can drag Imperial offices to the map. It doesn't really make a big difference right now. All of this is just habitable land. So I can construct it right here, for example. And I can also rush it with the production I have stored. So there we go, it's done already. And here's the first race that I met. They look kind of interesting. So one thing that I sort of like in diplomacy is that you can ask the other races directly if they have any grievances with you. Which obviously right now they don't, because we just met. But you can ask them directly, which is kind of nice. Yeah, what can you tell me about your people? So this is one of the more friendly races, I think. At least they certainly seem that way. I don't think there's anything I can negotiate right now. I can suggest non-aggression pact. They might go for it. They are willing to do so. So, send offer. There we go. They accepted. Fine by me. So I kind of want to find a planet with an anomaly, just to show you how exactly that works. That's my first colony. So, as you can see, this one has a bit less habitable land, but this should be more than enough for my needs. And if I want to kind of kickstart this planet to grow a bit faster, I should transport some food and population here. I'm actually not sure if the game will transport population automatically, but you can actually transport population, not just food and production. How's the population on Earth right now? Yeah, 14. So I definitely do want to transport some population. Let's see if that's going to happen automatically. Let's have a look. Yeah, delivering colonies. There we go. I wasn't 100% sure whether setting freighters to automatic will transport population on top of food and production, but it obviously does. As you can see, this small transport is currently on delivering colonies mission. So that's quite nice. This is one of the reasons why it's really worth turning on freighter automation in the game, because if I didn't, I would have to do all of this stuff manually. I would have to actually construct freighters, assign them to missions, which you can do yourself once you're more advanced at the game. There's certainly no reason not to, but it's just less micromanagement to do if you're just starting out. I definitely think it's worth doing. Let's have a look at this planet right here. Yeah, 0 fertility, unfortunately. So I didn't find any planet with positive fertility other than this one on one of these systems. Was that on Ogrim? Yeah, that was on Ogrim. Or Orgrim, whatever it's called. What about here? This is a bit far away from me. Yeah, here's one planet that can be colonized and actually has positive fertility. Unfortunately, it's ultra poor, which will make it really bad for production. But I can colonize it, why not? I'm a bit concerned that it's very far from me. But I'm going to grab it before anyone else does. How's my research doing? I should finish it fairly soon. I actually have quite a lot of money right now as well. So, one thing you can do with your ships and fleets, what does he want? Trade treaty. Yeah, sure. I can go to my fleet management right now, and from fleet management I can select any of my ships, including my transports. So I can go to this unarmed scout, for example, and I can bind it to one of the keys on my keyboard with Ctrl plus 1, Ctrl plus 2 and so on. That's pretty much the standard way of handling hotkeys for fleets in any kind of real-time strategy games ever. So if I actually assign it to 1, this is going to be called... yeah, let's unpause. This is going to be called first fleet, because it's assigned to number 1. If I assign it to number 2, it's going to be called second fleet. And I can go back to it quickly just by pressing 1. Like I said, this is the standard way of handling that in every real-time strategy game ever. Research is done, so now I can construct aeroponic farms. Let's go to research again. Maybe I should go for some kind of military technology now, because I can. So, I could grab magnetic artillery, which only requires 80 research points. That's actually a lot less than aeroponics did. So that's what I'm going to go for. I should certainly start working on my fleet. And here's one more important concept in the game, are the lanes. So I actually automated the projector construction right here. That was this option, auto build projectors, which means the AI handled the projectors, which are structures you can construct in space itself without me having to micromanage it. And thanks to subspace projectors, I created a lane between Solar System and Hronos, which will speed up travel between these systems. Again, if I didn't set this to automated, I would have to do all of that manually. Which is a lot of needless micromanagement, I would say. Okay, let's have a look at these other planets in this system. I don't think any of these were worth colonizing, not really, no. So I'm just going to stay with this planet for now. I can definitely grab aeroponic farm. This planet does have some fertility. And I can grab imperial offices as well. Spaceport might also be worth it. Spaceport allows you to construct ships, so it would definitely be worth being able to construct ships on more planets than just Earth, but I won't actually start from a spaceport. I can start from imperial offices, like so, and aeroponic farm. And since I imported some production to this planet using my freighters, I can actually rush construction of the aeroponic farm, for example, like so. Now I'm down to 8, I can rush it one more time, and it's on 28 out of 50 already. This is one of the reasons why you really have to import some goods to your fresh colonies. If I didn't import any food or production, new colonies would take forever to grow. But the AI handles that automatically if you turn on the automation. And this is... oh, that's my new colony? Yeah, it is. So here's an easier way to handle things. This is the planet list. And from the planet list you can go to any of your colonies that you have. And you can also see which other races colonized which planets, which is quite nice. So right now I only know of one planet colonized by the Polop, which was the guy I was talking with. So from here I can go directly to Scapet 2. That was the ultra poor planet that I colonized. It will take a while before I import any goods here, but it's going to happen. So I'm probably going to start from aeroponic farm, imperial offices after that, and spaceport again, because even though this planet has awful richness, it's quite far away from Earth. So it's definitely worth getting a spaceport here, so I'm able to get some basic defenses. And as you can see right now, the game already queued up some subspace projectors. I will be able to travel between these systems faster. Here's my scout. I need to find some other interesting planets. So I can actually do it using the planet list. I can sort this list by richness, like this. And there are some other planets that might be worth checking out. On Orgrim. Oh yeah, that was the one that I've seen with the fleet on neighboring planets. Tiamat 2, which one is that? Oh, this is... yeah, this is a bit far from me, unfortunately. Let's check the other ones. I'm probably going to want at least one planet with very high richness for production. So this Orgrim 2 might really be worth getting. If I build up my fleet a little bit, I should probably be able to handle whatever fleet there was. But I would have to check how dangerous they are, which I can't do right now because I don't have any ships around here. Some of the fleets that are guarding the planets can be really tough in the early game. So it's actually not too obvious that I will be able to deal with it. Anyway, let's go back to Earth real quick. How's that technology coming along? Not too bad. That's the railgun. So I should be able to get some stronger ships with that. And here's another race. Maybe I can get non-aggression pact. Send offer. Nope, he doesn't want to. This one is less friendly, I suppose. The research is almost done. There we go. Let's pause the game. So that's magnetic artillery, which gives me access to railgun and mass driver. Let's pick the next research then. So now I could continue down here and grab another military technology like the plasma thrower or massive cannon, but this should be enough for now. I'm going to check the other trees. These are a little bit expensive. What about physics? I don't have all of these technologies memorized, quite obviously, since I kind of just started playing the game. Let's check energy. I'm looking for some really cheap technologies that would be fast to get. Oh, this technology, for example, gives me Empire-wide 20% bonus to the amount of power that is stored in fuel cells. I don't think I need that right now. I could just grab industrial foundations. This only requires 150 and gives me access to rover bay and warehouse. So I can store extra 100 food and production. That's definitely worth having, especially on some more distant colonies. And rover bay gives me +1 production bonus. So I'm going to grab industrial foundations right now. So there we go, it's being researched. Let's go to Earth real quick. So now I completed the railgun, but I can't actually take advantage of it before I get some ships that actually use it. But I think I'm going to talk about that in the next video, since this one is over half hour already and I don't want to make them too long. Like I mentioned at the start, this is probably not going to be a full Let's Play series, but I am going to show all the important basics of the game. If I do a full Let's Play series on StarDrive, it's probably going to be after release. But for now, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.